Fears of a recession are giving some people flashbacks to the financial collapse of 2008. Inflation's at a 40-year high, and there are massive supply chain disruptions. Also, the stock market is a bit unsettled these days. So the question is history repeating itself?
Yeah, and here to explain and help us be economically prepared is Mark Scribner. He's a private CFO of Oxygen Financial. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So let's just begin. Can you say at this point, are we headed towards a recession?
Well, granted, everybody definitely is freaking out right now about recession and all the different things around the stock market. And wait till they get their statements in probably a couple days of June, because it was the most volatile period in a long, long time. But I do want your viewers to know they really need to think with their heads and not their hearts here, because they're going to make bad decisions with all this volatility.
Well, let's talk about that. Are there some signs in particular that we could be heading that way?
Yeah, experts right now are kind of split down the middle. Some say it's going to happen in the beginning of 2023. Some say it's actually happening right now.
Right.
But what we are starting to see is some slowdown in, like, the tech sector, for example. Certain areas of the economy at the moment are starting to have some softness.
Okay, so Mark, let's talk about layoffs. We know that Tesla announced layoffs with more to come. Netflix, Microsoft, PayPal, they all rolled out layoffs and hiring freezes. So some people are really pinching pennies right now, not knowing if they'll be next. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, places like JP Morgan, for example, like in the mortgage space, have announced a 1,000-person layoff because as interest rates have gone up, the mortgages have slowed down. So lots of areas of the economy that were high growth areas are now starting to slow. So they're starting to see the layoffs there.
So advice for somebody who's looking at those layoffs and then concerned that they could be the next one to lose their job.
Yeah, I mean, the most important thing is, you might want to consider a side hustle. There's some great websites that are out there. You can just type in on Google side hustle and try to get multiple sources of income. Or if you're in a position where you can get cross-trained or have multiple hats that you could wear, you might make yourself kind of non-replaceable. So it is happening, but we still historically are at a very, very low unemployment rate.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mark, as we talk about these job losses, inflation, and soaring prices, some people are panicking that this may feel a little familiar, like the financial crisis from 2008. But you say it's a bit different. What do you mean by that, and how can people prepare?
That's the number one question that everybody says. They try to compare where we are now to previous periods. But the difference between now and 2008 is we have a very, very low unemployment rate. In 2008, it was almost double of where it was. And then also, too, we had banking failure, systematic risk that was everywhere. So the whole financial system was crashing. There's an enormous amount of money in people's checking accounts right now, and we have great unemployment rates. So that's really the difference. But there are always similarities in recessions and depressions and things like that, but they're never identical.
Yeah, that is so true. Mark, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon to talk more about this. I know there's certainly more to come.
Thanks for having me, folks.